Hi, everyone, and welcome to this episode of Crushing Land. Happy to be with you here today. And we're going to talk about something that is very important to me, something that I have incorporated into my business since day one, and something that ever since I started teaching this business, that I have told my students right from the beginning is very important. In fact, the most important thing to have in their business. And we're going to break down today why that's the case. What is that one thing? It's consistency. Consistently doing the things that you need to do to have your business running. For our businesses, the most important thing that we need to be consistent with is marketing. If you're not being consistent with marketing right from the beginning, you can't expect anything else to come as a result of it. You can't be getting contracts and closing deals, things like that, if you're not consistently reaching out to people in order to get them to begin with. Now, in recent years, as things have changed and there's more technology and things like that involved, people have been focusing a lot more attention on doing less, which is fine. I'm a strong proponent of doing less in business, but in order to do less, it doesn't mean that you just get to stop doing anything. And that is part of the problem that people have. They will mail or they'll contact people for a short amount of time, and then they'll sit and they'll wait for maybe their pipeline to get filled a little bit, and then they'll start doing it again. The problem is you get these big lag times in there where things just don't fill in, or you don't get the responses that you thought you were going to get, and because of that, you don't actually fill in your pipeline at all. And so you really don't want to take that methodology, even though a lot of people do. The other thing that you want to be careful with is just because there is automation, just because there's tools, just because there's gimmicks to be used in this business, doesn't mean that's where the focus should be, right? If you wanted to have a high performance vehicle and you are adding all the bells and whistles to that vehicle, but you never put gas in the tank, would any of that stuff matter, right? You wouldn't be able to drive it. The same is true in this business. You can surround yourself with all the bells and whistles and all the automations and all of these things. But if there's no gas in that tank, if there's no marketing going out, it really doesn't mean anything. And I know people that are spending a lot of money for all of these different things and really are missing that first step and aren't being consistent. And because of that, they're not getting the results that they should. Now, I am all for all of these other high performance items, all of these other high performance things that you can do, all of these other automations, all that, but you still need to have the gas in the tank. You still need to have the marketing going in first and foremost in order for those things to truly be of benefit. And this isn't just true in this business, it's true in life. If you are thinking about maybe getting in shape, if you're thinking about losing weight, or if you're thinking about bulking up or whatever it may be, what is the one thing that they tell you, that a trainer will tell you, right? They may tell you that you should change your diet some. They may tell you that you should take some supplements. They may tell you that you should intake more water, you need more rest, whatever it may be. But the main thing that they're going to tell you and always tell you is just show up, right? Put in the work. Show up regularly and bang out those reps, or get on the bike or get on the treadmill or the elliptical machine or whatever it is that you're using. Show up. Consistency, right? That is first and foremost, and those other things help fill the gaps and help you with getting that result quicker. The same is true in this business. 100%. You need to be consistent more than anything. And you need to be consistent by marketing to owners. The only way that you're going to get anything else to happen is to be consistent with marketing to owners. All the other things that follow, you need to be consistent with that too, right? If you get a contract back, you need to be consistent with follow-up. If you get it, you have to be consistent with getting it out there and marketing it. You have all of the other steps. But the only way you can be consistent with all the other steps in the process is to be consistent with that first step, which is marketing to owners. Now, there's different ways to do this. You can market to people through text messaging, and that's very popular nowadays. The only problem with that is, well, besides like the regulation and that, but the problem with that one is it is involving automation, right? It's involving a tool, things like that. We just said that's not something that you necessarily want to dive into if you're not in a position to do so. We have been running a business doing this now for a decade plus, thousands of deals, and we've done it off of direct mail mostly. Now, we do use text messaging, we do use follow-up, we use all of these different things, but direct mail still works. And let me tell you something, for the first 5 years that we ran this business, we didn't have a CRM. We didn't have anything. We were running it off of spreadsheets. We were running our mailing off of spreadsheets. We were running our offers off of spreadsheets. We were running our follow-up off of spreadsheets. Those are just free options, right? A spreadsheet's free. Even if you don't have, whatever it is, Microsoft Excel or something like that, you do have Google Sheets or things like that you can use for free. So you can do those parts of it and being consistent with it. And the reason that I am bringing that up specifically is so many people focus on these other things when they really don't have the funds yet in order to do that, right? They're focusing on, well, I'm going to get my list and I'm going to start marketing to it and I'm going to do a text campaign and I'm going to do this and I'm going to do this. And it costs money to do that. Whereas if you're running it off of just these simple items, and maybe you're doing the mailing yourself to begin with. I'm not saying you're going to want to continue doing that, but if you're doing these things, you can be consistent, you can control it. And the biggest thing is making sure that marketing does go out regularly. Every week, you want to make sure that you are reaching out to potential owners. Now, obviously, that is not sustainable doing it that way. But if you are consistent with doing that from the beginning, getting yourself going, getting the business rolling, then guess what? Adding those tools in will happen a lot quicker, right? You'll be consistent with it. You'll get some deals. You'll start outsourcing marketing. You'll start outsourcing mailing. You'll start outsourcing phone calls. Then you'll bring in text messaging, whatever it may be. Now, if you're in a position financially to do all of it, then do all of it right from the beginning. There's no reason to do the letters yourself if you don't have to. There's no reason to answer the phone calls yourself if you don't have to. There's no reason not to incorporate text messaging in if you have the ability to pay for it, right? So the key though is if you do those things, now you're paying more money. So if you're paying for a mail house, if you're paying for a call center, if you're paying to use a program to send out text messages, be consistent, right? You want to make sure that those numbers are going out regularly. So consistency is the lifeblood to this business. And honestly, like I mentioned, it's the lifeblood to anything. If you lose the consistency, all the other tools, all the other gimmicks, all the other things that are out there just really don't mean anything. You're spending money on something that's not going to help you. Now, when it's time to add those things in and you really use them with consistency, that's where you can blow up your business, because now you're spending very little amount of money for those things in comparison to what they can generate. But again, unless you have the consistency behind it, unless you're using those tools for the right reasons, they're just sitting there. It's no use, right? It's like having a power saw that costs you hundreds of dollars, that you don't use because you literally need to cut 2 boards a year. It makes no sense to have that, right? So again, if you're out there and you need to cut, 1,000 boards a year, right? You're regularly using it because you're a builder. It makes 100% to have it, right? But if you're only cutting 2, you might as well just have the handsaw, because that'll work easily for you in that case. So I'm not saying go low. The point of this was not to go low with 2. It is to be consistent. Is no point in having tools in your business if you're not going to use them for their purpose and have them regularly. So get yourself out there, with marketing, get yourself out in front of owners. If you regularly do this, if you consistently do this, you're going to see your pipeline start to fill up. And as your pipeline fills up, then the other parts that we just talked about can be added in even more readily to make it fill up even more. And then obviously you're going to have a whole lot more deals coming out the back end. So make sure, again, nothing more important than consistency. I've taught that for years now, and it's still true right now in 2024. Nothing is more important than consistency. So if you have questions about any of this, feel free to reach out to us. Links are down below. We're happy to help you with this and help you to grow or start your land investing business, depending on where you're at. So have a great one, everyone. We'll see you next time on Crushing Land.